It's John for the Young Turks, and I've been following, as I'm sure many of you are, Donald Trump's both his time at the G7 and also the fallout from it, since he has now moved on, leaving us in a far worse off position with basically all of our longtime allies. You name them, he pissed them off, and now Macron is, he's pissed off at him too. And it doesn't look like things are going to get much better from here on out, certainly not anytime soon. And I was thinking about that, and I was frustrated, but it took a while for me to realize exactly why it's as frustrating as it is. And it's because there are, at least to my mind, maybe 3 different levels that you can analyze his performance at the G7 on. And it's the third one that I think I'm hearing about the least that actually worries me the most. So, first of all, what are we worried about? We're worried about him destroying these international trade and setting up these tariffs. One of the main problems, though, is him asserting that these other countries have tariffs that they don't have, or that they're at levels that they're not. And it frustrates me that any of his followers, or him, could simply look it up and see, but they choose not to. They're not actually interested in what the level of those tariffs are. So he will assert that they need to be lowered. They physically cannot be lowered. It's not a thing that is possible. And so there's no way for them to comply with his demands. And it just drives an ever-increasing in size wedge between us and our allies. And so, as I said, there are 3 ways that you can analyze this. The first is, I think, satisfying, but probably not accurate. And that's that he simply doesn't know. He just doesn't know that the tariffs aren't at the level that he's saying. And look, there are reasons to believe this. He is a moron. He's not a curious person. He refuses to fix... Let me see if I can flip around. It might be a little bit better lighting. That looks like the best. Try to go a little bit more into the sun. That he is not actually aware of the fact that he's wrong. And that's possible. He doesn't know much, as I said. But I think that at this point, he would have been told by somebody that he works for that he was getting this wrong. He'd get all the messages, it'd be corrected by Shep Smith or something like that. So I don't think that's what it is. And so, okay, we go one step further, and it might be that he simply wants to, feel strong and big at the G7. And so he's going to go in there, and he's going to attack them, and he's going to bluster, and it's all about him then. It's not the ignorance, it's the, the brashness, I guess, the arrogance. And that is certainly true to him too, just like the ignorance. It could be that that is the case. He goes in there, maybe he looks good or whatever, and you play on the ignorance of your followers in terms of how international trade actually works. This is the thing that's been frustrating me too. Trying to communicate to people how tariffs actually work and what the consequences of tariffs are. And so you set up these tariffs and you tell your supporters that you're on their side and you're trying to help them out. Analysis comes out showing that we're going to lose about net 400,000 jobs, and it's going to hurt tons of American industries that rely on trade with the EU and Canada and Mexico. And his followers don't actually understand that, and it's damn near impossible to actually explain it to them. It's complicated, and they're not going to listen to you. So he might just be, like, he doesn't care. He knows that it's wrong, but he wants to feel big. He wants to look like he's defending America. That's the second level. And there's something to that, but I don't think that that's what it is either. I think that it's something more subversive, more disgusting, and scarier as well. It might be that this is not just about him looking good, and he's willing to start feuds with our longtime allies to get it. It might be that the feuds itself is what he is going for, and that's why the video is titled the way it is. So Donald Trump goes in there. He's surrounded by all of our strongest economic and military allies. He immediately says that he wants Russia to join the G7. He then says that Crimea was the invasion of Crimea was Obama's fault, and that the people of Crimea are happier off with Russia anyway. Now, obviously, he got those talking points from Vladimir Putin. We've read recently that he talks on the phone regularly with him. He says all of that, and then immediately when it comes to the actual dealings with our allies, he starts lobbing bombs. They get pissed off, it drives a wedge between us. But is that actually an accident? Is it that they're not giving him what he wants? Or is what he wants to drive a wedge between us and our allies? And that may sound a little bit conspiratorial, it may sound a little bit crazy, so let me go a little bit further in depth. Donald Trump said at the RNC, "I am the only one that can save you. I'm the only one that can solve our problems." And we know that since the very first time that he went down that escalator, he's been trying to scare people about Mexicans. He scares people about refugees and Islam and all of that. And so there's this ever-increasing xenophobia, hatred for the other. And you can go pretty far on that with Mexicans and with, you know, Muslims and stuff like that. But we do, you know, typically, historically, have these strong relationships with Canada and with Europe and all of that. It's a potential solution to our problems that he can't claim credit for. And so for his base, does he want them to think that France can help us, that the UK or Germany or Canada can help us, that we can learn something from them, that we can work together to improve both of our countries in any one of these cases? I don't think that he does. I think that he wants us, and especially his followers, to feel like he is the only one you can trust. He's the only one who has your back. It doesn't matter what we've learned over, you know, the past 100+ years or whatever in some of these alliances. You know, maybe we've been working economically with a country for 50 to 70 years. Forget about them. They don't care about you. They attacked the leader that you love, and so forget about them. You only have me. And it doesn't matter if it, you know, devastates any number of different American industries. It doesn't matter if it leaves people far worse off economically than they are today. I think that the isolationism is what he wants. And the thing is, like, a little bit of evidence for this position is, look at how his followers have responded to what, you know, Macron and the leadership of Germany and you know, Trudeau as well, I guess, a little bit before the G7, but the same sort of thing. They love this. Somebody tweeted, blow up the G7 to own the libs. And I think that that may sound a little bit condescending towards them, but I think that it's 100% true. I think that they don't want any attachment to these other countries, and he certainly doesn't want them to have that attachment. And if you care about our economy, this is a scary goddamn thing. Okay? We do need trade with these other countries. Like, think about our car companies. Yeah, they're gonna sell plenty of cars to Americans, but they're gonna sell a hell of a lot more in Europe and in China eventually, you know, since they have something like 5 times more people here. But if he throws up tariffs on all these other international car manufacturers, and they're gonna do the same to us, think about the people who work for them. I don't understand what the flicker wisp reference is. I'm seeing some of your comments. But anyway, I want to focus on this. We're going to lose tons of jobs. And then think about that. Think about, he blows up all of these trade deals. He you know, harms our GDP overall. He certainly harms individual industries. Jobs are lost and all of that. So people lose their jobs. Are these people that are Trump supporters that lose their jobs, are they going to turn on him? No. He's going to say, look, we were screwed over by Canada and Mexico and all of that. And I was the one who helped us by cutting off all trade with them. He literally said that today, by the way. We should cut off all trade with these companies, with these countries, if they don't give us what they want. And so this is scary. I mean, under Obama, wages didn't grow nearly enough. Jobs, you know, many people, I mean, the unemployment rate certainly went down, but a lot of that was really underemployment and people being forced into jobs that they don't want. And then we have this. I mean, God only knows over the next few years how many jobs will end up being lost. We think it's 400,000 now, but wait until we get another couple of rounds of multi-billion-dollar tariffs on individual industries. If you care about the American working class, this is a pretty scary display that he just put on for the international audience. If you're one of his followers, you might like it. You might think that, oh, look there, he's sticking his thumb in the eye of Merkel or Macron or whatever, if you even know who those people are. But he's also sticking it in you, and he's certainly sticking it right into your wallet, because you are going to lose out as a result of this. And this coming week, we're going to talk a lot about the fallout from the G7 and, you know, whatever else might come from it, as well as, you know, the summit with North Korea. We're going to break down all of that, but we do need to keep an eye on what he's doing abroad. It is some scary, scary stuff, not just for the reasons that might seem obvious, but for the ones lurking behind as well. Trying to get his followers to feel like there is no one in the world that is in it for them, except for Donald Trump, the person who cares the least about them possibly in the entire world. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this. It's been a little bit hard to follow your comments. There's been a lot of them. I'm not going to do some squats for you, cutie. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I'm John Idarola. You can follow me on Twitter at John Idarola. I pretty much just tweet about stuff like this. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already been watching, the Damage Report is available on YouTube TV. You can get a free, I think it's a 30-day free trial of it, where you get the TYT network, including the new shows, Anna's show, No Filter, Brett's show, Happy Half Hour, and my show every morning, the Damage Report, as well as all the rest of our content. And by the way, you also get any number of other channels too. It's a great replacement for TV. Anyway, thank you guys. I'll see you next time.